Jim, thank you for joining me this morning.
My pleasure.
So Wolvestock in Wolverhampton. First of all, what is it?
Wolvestock's a country music festival. It's a British country music festival. It means we don't have any American acts on there. And it's really an expression of a great weekend of joy for everybody from sort of like 5 years old up to 80 years old, if you like. And they all come along and enjoy a very gentle form of music. It's it rocks, it rolls, and it does everything, but there's nothing untoward that upsets anybody. And they all bring their own chairs, can of beer, and come along and enjoy great days out, really. So where did it all start for Wolvestock? Wolvestock started way back in '94. I was invited by Wolverhampton Council to put together a country music, let's have a country music festival, they said. So, okay, they gave me a theatre with an amphitheatre in a small park in Wolverhampton. We put it on and it exploded. We had about 300, 400 people come there over the first weekend, peaking up to when we got to Wolvestock 18 after about 3 parks later, as we grew and we had to go up. We had somewhere around about 11, 12,000 people there. That was incredible. Authenticated by the Guinness Book of Records because we were going for a super line dance occasion then. It's all part of the great occasion of it. So how have you seen it develop over the years? Has it changed much? It has changed tremendously. When it first started, a lot of the acts were doing covers of American songs, well, imitating American songs. Changed over the years where we've introduced bands who write and play their own. British acts are now standing up equal side by side with the American acts. And we've been one of the first ones to encourage them. We've started quite a lot of bands who had their first festivals at Wolvestock, and they've looked back and said, we love Wolvestock because that's where we started. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk a bit later as well about America with their country scene and what's happening in the UK at the moment. But who have we got playing this year? Well, we actually have, when it comes to the British Country Music Association, sort of like the authority on it, we have their solo artist of the year, a young lady called Donna Wilde from Preston. We have in Manchester, we have a band called Henry Smith, who is Entertainer of the Year 4 times, Band of the Year twice, and we have a trio that are sort of like the current bands on there. Then we have all the new artists who played at the C2C, the big O2 festival that took place in March. Yeah. They're all the ones from there, and we're introducing the new country music into the festival as well. I imagine it's a great stage for them to get started, isn't it? Oh, it's a tremendous showcase for it, because one thing about festivals, it isn't people from next door who come and watch it. The people come from all over the country to it. We have people come down from Scotland, from the Essex, they come up from Essex, they come from the south. They come from everywhere to Wolvestock to be there, to have a look at the new acts, really. Yeah, so pretty popular festival. How many are you expecting this year? We're hoping, we've had ups and downs, and we're looking for about 2,000 people this year if they come in, and it should be good. They'll bring their own chairs, and they'll bring a good 4-pack, because it's got to last all day. And you said there are people coming from all over the country. It's going to be great for the local economy in Wolverhampton, isn't it? It's tremendous for the local economy. There is a little sad Rye story, really. On Wolverhampton Racecourse, the Holiday Inn's next to it. So everybody thought, oh, the Holiday Inn right next to the festival site. They all booked into the Holiday Inn. Suddenly they decide to refurb it. So they've actually shipped them out to other hotels all around. But everybody's got a place in there, so they're all there. It is very good for the local economy. Let's talk about country now. And country, everyone knows, Nashville is the place, isn't it? It's the only place to be. Have you been? Tell me a bit about Nashville. I've been to Nashville. Nashville has an ambience of its own. Nashville's the only place where you can actually have a recognised trade of being a songwriter. You know, I'm like a poet who puts things to music, and it's a recognised job. Every part of the music industry is there. Nashville has a very thriving economic base as well, and it also does classical music, jazz music and everything, but it's noted as being the home, the master place of country music. So basically, because it started way back about 1930, they had a radio station called WSM, who was broadcasting on medium wave, and in America they used to shut all the medium wave stations down and give just 2 stations what they call clear air, 5,000 watts, and they could go from Nashville in Tennessee right the way up into Canada with it. And that created the whole image of country music right the way across the whole of America. Everybody listened on their little valve radio to the latest thing that was coming out from Ernest Tubbs' Midnight Jamboree show there. And it has grown from there. It is still recognised as the capital of music. Everybody wants to belong to the Grand Ole Opry. They want to be a great singer. And the CMA, the Country Music Association of the world, really, has its headquarters there, and they deal with all the major stars. Everybody wants to belong to the CMA. I belong to it. So,
and obviously country massive over there. The UK doesn't really have a Nashville. Why do you think this is?
Basically, we had. There's only about 3 cities in England that are associated with Manchester, Liverpool, and perhaps London are the 3 major music, but they were all rock-based. Country music has developed almost as a ground image. It's very similar to, if you called it folk, everybody said, oh yeah, I like folk. I don't like country. Why they don't like country is very obscure, because 90% of the people will listen to a piece of music, you play it to them and say, oh, I like that, that's country music. And they say, wow, didn't realise that. Some of the new stars, I mean, the classic example at the moment is Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, with her own dress design, makeup,
of course,
food,
started in country, didn't she?
She started as a country singer with a banjo around her neck, singing and writing her own songs. That inspired a whole generation of young girls to write in this country, and now they're coming to fruition. We've got some of them playing at Wolvestock. We've got like Emma Swindles, a young lady from Stoke called Nan, and Rebecca Forrester is her proper name, but they write their own songs, and they are so prevalent in what they do and so proud of what they do. It's part of the joy that we just go out and watch and enjoy it.
I mean, is this the next step for country in the UK? I mean, what is happening with country in the UK at the moment?
Country in the UK is coming away. The older generation still retain what is called legacy country. This is the old Kenny Rogers, going back to the early country music, coming up to the new country. And new country is beginning to become very vibrant. In 5 years' time, I think there will be very few of the old country clubs about, because most of the people will be sort of like retired, sat at home by the fire.
Yeah.
And all of the new generation are out watching country. And country suddenly will become played on mainstream radio, even be played on big centre TV.
And of course, country, it's massive in Europe as well, isn't it?
Tremendous in Europe. France has a very, very vibrant, the middle of France has a very vibrant country music festival scene. Switzerland is very strong in festivals. If you go down the German Rhine, used to be all beer festivals, it's now all country festivals down there. And of course, the biggest one of the lot in Europe is Norway and Sweden. It's almost like their home ones. Their own artists are absolutely brilliant when they come over here.
I mean, it's just fantastic to hear about music, country music coming into its own as well. And at Wolvestock, you mentioned the time when you had the most people there was when you tried to have, when you did have the world record for the line dancing. I mean, what is the line dancing link with country music?
It started off in the old days. If you go right back to the very beginning of it, line dancing started after the American Civil War, when there was loads of people living in towns and they were having to drive the cattle up. They had all these fellas that used to drive these cattle up. That somebody with a fiddle or a guitar would play music in the end. Load of blokes together, they're not going to dance together, so they all danced in a line. And that was how line dancing started. And it's slightly incongruous, you'd think of it, all these fellas riding the cattle around, dancing at night around the campfire, but that was how it started. And then it got revived later on. It was picked up in the 80s at a place in Nashville called the White Horse Saloon. They started it there. They started filming it, got onto television, and they suddenly realised it was cool and sexy to do, and everybody came up to line dancing.
Brilliant. Well, before we go, of course, Wolvestock is at Dunstall Park in July.
July the 1st, 2nd and 3rd. It's on Friday evening, which is free to go in. Saturday and Sunday, £7 on the door, 35 quid if you want to camp.
Bring your own sweet seats, picnics.
Yes, you can bring your own sweets. You can get them there if you want. If you want to check out who's on, actually, go to the webpage, wolvestock.com. Simple as that.
Lovely.